my God, we got the contract. My recent contract was a catering contract for Camp Bullis in San Antonio. 600 people we had to serve, got it done in 1 hour. A little over 11,000. I don't have any certifications. I just started. Right now, I'm at work, back in my semi-truck. I mean, this is everyday life. If you do good, if you do bad, they're going to talk about you. First impression is always the best impression. It's kind of like a cut and paste. It's really not hard.
Today, fresh off of a win, is Ashley Bryant, and I'm excited to have you here. So welcome to the channel.
Thank you. I'm excited as well. Thank you for having me.
People are going to want to know immediately what you won. So let's do a sneak peek. Like, what was your recent contract win?
My recent contract was a catering contract for the Camp Bullis in San Antonio.
Okay. So how did you get into government contracting? Because there may be people watching that are like, well, I can do catering and catering. What? So how did you even get into government contracting?
You know, I wanted to say this as well. When I posted my win on your Facebook group, I was just like overwhelmed by the love that I received. And, you know, the congratulations. And I'm just letting people know how I did it. And I'm sitting there with my husband. I'm telling him, I'm like, you know what? One day I'm going to win so much money. I'm going to get so many contracts. And then I'm going to have an interview with Kizzy. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. And then I see it was like the next day, I see your comment that you wanted to interview me. And I was like, oh, Lord, I said I wanted to interview her, but not this fast. I got to get my weight up a little bit. So I'm just sitting there and, you know, it was at night. I didn't tell my husband. The next morning I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and message her and just tell her that I'm not going to do it, you know, because I don't feel like I deserve it yet. I'm not that person who won $400,000 in contracts. And he looked at me and was like, are you crazy? Like, you deserve to do this. It was like, don't you think that she knows that you didn't win a $400,000 contract? Like, it's a reason why she chose you to do this. Like, for everybody, for the people like me and you that has been watching those interviews and seeing people win those contracts and like, okay, how did they do it? Like, but it's like that I do have a story to tell for those people that feel like they can't do it, to show them that they can. And
yeah.
So that I'm on here now.
Well, I love it. I love that you're here. And also, please share with people because they may be like, where is she filming? Like, where are you?
Right now, I'm at work. I'm in Dallas, Texas, at work in the back of my semi-truck. So, like, I had to do this. I wasn't going to let anything stop me from doing this. I'm like, I'm going to just do it just like how it is. This is real. This is me. And, I mean, this is everyday life.
Right. And I love that you said that. I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate what you shared. The Facebook group is amazing. And I also want to let everyone know, like, this is more than possible. I can't say it enough. Winning a contract is easy. And then you see, like, she's there. She's hustling. Like, we're all doing that.
Yes.
So I commend you. This is not about having some pretty produced thing. This is like reality of this is the world of government contracting.
And I feel like I really just need to share, like, go in depth with my background on how I actually just started to get into this, just for everybody to know it's just not like, because I know some people will say, oh, I don't have the experience. It's not about that. It's just about, are you determined to be able to do it? 2012, I got my associate's degree in human development. I've always been fond of social work. So I used to work at group homes, like for boys and girls, and also was a teacher's assistant for children with autism. That's always been my dream, my goal. I always wanted to have my own group home so I can be able to, you know, help others that's in need. But I realized that with the income that I was getting in that field, it wasn't going to get to where I needed to be. So I started my own business. I had got me a sole proprietor, an EIN, and I started a cleaning business as well as a transportation for the kids for school. I realized shortly that I did not like cleaning. So in the meantime, I was still doing the transportation, but I was doing like Uber and Amazon Flex. Like in a big city like Dallas, we have Amazon Flex, which some people may not know is that you can be able to deliver out of your car. So I realized that I really liked the logistics side and all that. Like it was pretty fun to do. So I ended up just putting my business to the side and working at FedEx for a contractor. Now with FedEx Ground, they have contractors. Like some people don't know that as well. Like FedEx Ground will hire, regular people like me and you. We can buy routes, we can buy trucks and get routes through FedEx. 6 months later, the contractor, he told me like, hey, Ashley, I know you've been doing really good. I'm going to sell half of my routes and I want you to manage it. I'm like, what? I'm like super excited. I'm like, yes. But at this time, peak season was coming. So this is when the holidays were coming in. I'm all excited, but I have no idea what's going to be happening. See, for me, when I was running, I used to just do my route, get done, and be home. Now, trying to manage 10 different other grown adults, it was like, well, they don't do quite as what I used to do. So, and my contractor, he lives about 8 hours away, so he was never there. So at that time, as a manager, I was doing the hiring, I was doing the route planning, doing the mechanics, as well as on top of managing other people. So if one person didn't come in, so after I'm doing all that, going to meetings and everything, if one person didn't come in, I had to do that route. And so FedEx then started 7 days. So I was working 7 days a week from like 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. trying to get all this stuff out for peak season. So this was in about 2019. So eventually I got everything smooth. Everything was going good. 2020, COVID hits. I'm like, you know what? I'm not finna have it the way that it was during peak season. So I just really just focused and made sure that everything had went smooth and everything was great. Probably about a couple months after that, my contractor, he seen that I was really doing good with it. He was like, you know what, Ashley, since you're good at doing this, how about I just give you these routes and you be the contractor? I'm like, okay. I'm like, but I don't have the money for this or the credit for this. He was like, it's okay. It's all right. I'll help you, just transfer it. Just go ahead and get a business license. Like, okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I was studying, getting a business license. I went on Facebook and I was looking to see like different contractors and how they felt about contractors with FedEx. So it was one question that somebody had put up there was like, should I get into FedEx contracting? It was this one lady that was on there. She was like, don't do it. It's like, I sold all my trucks and my route and and for less of the value, and I started government contracting, and my life is great. I was like, government contracting. So I messaged her, and I was like, what is government contracting? So she was like, you know what, girl, just come to Houston, and I'll tell you all about it. So I went down to Houston, and I drove from Dallas down to Houston with my husband. We went to her shop. She has her own, like a UPS type store, it's pronto shipping. She had explained to me what it was, and she was like, go ahead and sign up right now for it. And I'll just explain to you everything later. So I signed up for the state. And so I was with the state looking at it. So she was like, just everything, just tap everything. Anything you see, just go ahead and tap it and do it. So that's what I did. But when I got home, she explained everything to me. When I got home, I was looking at the contracts and I was seeing that most of them was for purchase. And I'm like, well, I don't have about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for purchases at this moment. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just hold off, put this to the side, and I'm going to just focus on being a contractor for FedEx. But unbeknownst to me, my contractor sold the routes to someone else. I was livid. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that he just sold it behind my back. He told me that I was going to get this. And so here this man comes and he's like, oh, we're going to do it this way. We're going to change it up and we're going to have it like, I'm like, don't fix anything if it's not broken. So we're having this tit for tat. I'm already mad that this happened. 2 months later, he hires me. I'm like, at that time I was really mad, but at the same time I was kind of relieved because I was working 7 days a week. Even though it wasn't as many hours as I used to, it was still really just hard. So I was telling myself, like, you know what? I'm never going to work for anybody else that hard again. If I'm going to work that hard, it's going to be for me. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I got a little money in my account. I have my taxes. Me and my husband, we love doing food. So why we just don't get a food trailer? So, that's what we did. But in the U.S., it was, it's kind of expensive. So I took the chance and get a food truck overseas. So I bought the food truck, waited for, it's taking months for it to come. And then I finally paid for the shipping, the duty fees for it to get shipped here and everything. It gets to Los Angeles. I got the the trucker set up so he can be able to get the truck from Los Angeles, the food truck from Los Angeles, and bring it to Texas. Probably a month later, they had to do the inspection, and they said that it wasn't the requirements for the U.S. It wasn't there. So I had to get the food truck destroyed. So all that money that I put in that food truck, I did not get. So all the money was just a total waste. I was bummed out. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like super stressed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to actually go back to doing the job. Like, I have to go back. Like, we got the money now. I just use it all for the food truck. So I went back and I did Amazon. So I started delivering for Amazon. A couple of months later, I'm like, this is not enough money. I'm gonna go ahead and get my CDL. So I went and got my CDL. My husband already has it. So I was like, you know what? How about we just team drive together? We can do that. So I got my CDL. We found like a little mom and pop company that hauls furniture. So we was doing that for a while. Probably like a little less than a year. It wasn't enough freight anymore. So they ended up laying us off. Oh, okay. So here we go again. I'm like, you know what? We have enough money up in the account, and I did get my income tax again. How about we just go ahead and get our own truck? Like, here I am again with my ideas, and here my husband, he's going for it. Like, you know what? Sure, let's do it. And then again, one looking at trucks and realizing, oh, I don't have enough for these regular truck places to get a truck, nor is I was fixed on my credit, but it wasn't as good. These people, they want like $10,000, $20,000 down. I don't have that. And so I had went to a second chance. So the second chance lease, and that was in Florida. It's like, oh, no credit check. Everything is good. We won't give you anything, crap. If you give us crap, we expect crap back. I'm like, okay, so this must be legit. This is pretty good. It got like 4.5 stars. I'm like, yeah, even though the second chance leasing, the payments is like astronomical, so I'm like, but still, we can be able to do this. So we flew down to Florida. We went, got the truck. I had put the down payment on the insurance, and I did everything that was needed to be done. We drive from Florida almost to Texas. The check light engine comes on. I'm like, oh Lord, like what else is it? So I called them, let them know. They're like, oh, it's okay. We have a mechanic that we use personally. You can just take it to the mechanic and he'll fix it. A week later, it got fixed. I'm like, we trying to hurry up. We don't have a job. We need to go. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just stay in the Texas, Louisiana area just in case anything happens to the truck. We like right here. 2 days later, after getting the truck, we get a load, going to Louisiana. The truck breaks down. Transmission issues. 1:30 in the morning on a Saturday. So it's like, and the leasing place is not open until Monday. So now we're paying a tow truck guy to take the truck 5 miles, $700 for 5 miles to the mechanic. So mechanic's like, we just gonna take it here. Monday, we'll let you know what's the problem. We get a hotel for them couple of days, and Monday comes, they tell us, oh, the transmission is totally out. You need to get a whole new transmission. So I'm like, oh, so I call the people, let them know. They're like, you know what? We're going to ship the transmission out to them. They just fix it. It won't be any cost to you. You won't have to make any payments. I'm like, okay, good. And so we talked to the mechanics. They said, okay, it's going to be like a week and a half. We'll get it done. 1 month later, it's still not ready. So during that time, we are still having to pay the insurance on the truck. We still have bills. So now we're racking up our credit cards with this. Like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? So we call Lisa people again. It's like, you know what? It don't seem like it's going to be done. We'll get you another truck. Forget that truck. Just come back to Florida. We'll get you another truck. So we had, on our own expense, fly back down to Florida, get the truck, and drive it back to Texas. 1 week later, we in Arkansas. Same thing happens for the first time. So now they're like, oh, it's okay. We'll go ahead and we'll take it to the place and we'll get it fixed. The mechanic fixed it the same day. Like, okay, great. This time we're rolling. Everything is going good. Everything is great. 3 months later, the transmission goes out again. We're like, what? Now this time, the leasing company is like, well, you had it for 3 months, so we're not paying for it.
3 months? Oh,
You had it with 3 months, so we're not paying for it. But go ahead and take it to our mechanic so they can let you know. So we go to talk to the mechanic, ask for an estimate. He's like, oh, it's gonna be between $8,000 to $10,000 to get it fixed. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. We don't have that kind of money. We're just gonna give them back their truck. It's done. Like, this is another failed plan that we try to do. We're just gonna go ahead and go back to a company and figure it out. So I'm on Facebook. I'm looking for companies, and this guy, he messages me, and I'm just talking to him, just chatting up, telling him about my situation. He's looking for a job too. So we're going back and forth, telling each other about jobs. The next day, we're on the phone and everything. He was like, hey, I have a truck here, just sitting around. We've got a little stuff that needs to be fixed or whatever, but, you can lease it from me if you want. You don't have to pay as much as you was paying those other people. Now, me and my husband, we have some money in the bank, but we like, you know what? So we have these options. I'm like, talking to him. We have 2 options. We either go to a company. We both go back to a company, use the money that we have, pay off our credit card bills, live comfortably, and eventually we'll get back to it. We'll save up our money, get a truck that'll be really good, and then we can just start it back. Or I can go get a job at a company, have consistent money coming, and we can just go get a stranger that we do not know, that we met on Facebook, the money to pay for his truck, and then go up and get a truck that we don't really know if that's just the only problems with it, and just go ahead, we're just gonna thug it out. We looked at each other, was like, you know what? We're gonna thug it out. And that's exactly what we did. We paid that man that money. He went up to St. Louis and got the truck, drove it back down. I looked on Facebook. I found him a company to do sandboxing for the oil field. Got him in that, and I started working for a company. In the back of my head, though, I'm still thinking about those government contracts. So I go back out to the lady. Shout out to Tramiel Kakoi. I go back to her, and I tell her, hey, I got a truck now. So I want to see more about those government contracts. She's like, okay, you need to go on Sam.Gov. Now, I signed up on Sam.Gov, but I never registered. So I didn't know it was a difference. I was like, I'm already signed up, But she's like, no, you got to register, girl. She's like, go on GoDaddy, get you a domain, get you a website. It's not that much to do. And just set it up. So that's what I did. I went on there, I set it up, and I'm like, okay, now this is in October. So I'm looking at all the contracts. I'm like, there's not too many logistics stuff on here. I'm really not seeing too much for trucking or anything like that. I'm like, what am I seeing? I'm not looking at this right. I don't know what's going on. So I started going on YouTube just to see what everybody else was doing. Then that's when I seen your page, your channel. I was like, okay, let me listen to what she's saying. The curls popping, yeah.
curls popping.
And I seen the one with David for the Middleman. Yes. So I seen that one, and I was listening to it, and then it had cut off. I'm like, oh no, I gotta pay for this. I gotta get this. I gotta see what she's talking about. So I go and I get the Middleman, and I listen to the video, and I'm like, okay, all this makes sense. So I go back on to Sam.Gov with a different eye now. Now I'm not looking at logistics. I'm looking at everything, like what's on there. I set it up, my place performance in Texas. I'm like, let me just stay in Texas for right now so I can, if anything happens, I can be there. And that's when I seen catering. I'm like, okay, I'm familiar with catering. I try to get my food truck, so I can do this. So I seen it, I'm looking, I read everything, all the criteria. And so that's when I get on Facebook. I listen to what David said. I got on Facebook, I searched for caterers in San Marcos. That's where the area was at. So that's why I was looking for it. And that's when I met, shout out to her, Sunita Ellis, for Hurry Back Catering. I see her Facebook, and so I went on her website. I'm just looking. I'm like, oh, she's from Louisiana. Her food was just looking so good. Got my mouth drooling. I'm like, oh, I gotta message her and see what she's all about. So I messaged her. I'm like, hey, my name is Ashley Bryan. I was just wondering, do you do catering? And she messaged me back and told me, like, yes, you do. And I was like, okay, can I contact you? Can I get your phone number, contact just for more information so we can talk about, the stuff that I need? So I call her, I tell her about the contracts and everything. She's like, oh, yeah, I understand about that, about, contracts. I have my own business where she had did the state. Well, she was trying to do the state. She's like, yeah, I was trying to do the state, but I put a bid in, I didn't do it right, so I just stopped doing the bids. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, we can be able to work something out. I was just letting her know. I was like, we can do this together. Like, you don't like doing bids. I can be able to help you with this. So I went on Sam.Gov. I looked up rewards for catering and just try to see how much was people getting for it so I could just put it in that realm. I went on her website. I got her biography. I put the biography on the proposal. I got all the pictures that she had. I put the pictures on the proposal. Now with the military, they have like approved meals. They own approved meals on there. So basically, I just copied and pasted. So that's what I put on my proposal. Then I gave them how much it would be, and I just sent it off. Let her know what I did, sent it off, and was just like, yes, I did my first proposal, and I was waiting, and I waited. I had passed the golf for that already. I was like, okay, I didn't get it. So once I seen the person who did win it, I went back to that award and I seen how much they did it for. So then that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to redo the bid and put it about as much as they had done it. So that's what I did again. So I put it in there to research because they always have these catering gigs out there. Like it's probably like either once or twice a month. So I just kept doing it. So I put the bid in, didn't get it that time. I'm like, okay. And I'm telling her, I'm emailing her, I'm letting her know. I'm like, like it's not coming yet. I'm like, but please just have faith in me. Like I'm gonna keep doing it. Every time I see one, I'll let you know the dates and how many people. I'm like, but I'm gonna get one. Like I'm gonna keep trying. All she said was okay. so I kept doing it. And kept losing. But this one time, it was one for February 9th through the 11th. February 6th come. Now I never hear from them, like for the proposals. If I lose, I don't hear nothing. This time I kept getting emails back and forth like, hey, is this the price correct? Is this your correct tax ID? How are you going to prepare it? Just basically just trying to reiterate what I already had put on there. So I'm just like, okay, this is like I'm about to get it now. So I email them back like, okay, are we going to get it? I just want to make sure just in case so we can be ready. He emails me back and was like, well, we just trying to finalize a few things and I will let you know. I'm just anticipating, waiting. Later on that day, he sends an email stating, that they changed the numbers on the proposal, so we'll need to resubmit the bid. We have to do an amendment, so everybody has to rebid. I'm sorry, I apologize for the inconvenience. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. The next day, he sends the email for the amendment for everybody to resubmit. So like I said, I was driving, so I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be done by 3 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, let me hurry up and let me get back to the job so I can be able to do this. A couple hours later, he emails me like, did you see the amendment? Are you going to do it? I'm like, yes, I see it. I'm going to do it. So in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, he really wants to give it to me. So let me hurry up and do this. So I send it off. It's 3:30. I submitted before 3. So I'm like, okay, maybe about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Probably should hear from them, because February 7th got a couple of days. So they probably want to do this quickly. I didn't hear anything back. I'm like, okay, all right, guess we didn't get it, guess they seen the finalization with somebody else. I guess I was one of the finalists and they picked them. So I'm emailing Miss Anita back and forth and just letting her know, it's not, just waiting to hear from them. We may get it, we may not, I'm not sure, I'm still waiting. So the next day, they usually get in at 6 in the morning, usually email 6 in the morning. So I'm looking at my phone, still nothing. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we really didn't get it. About 10:30, I get a phone call from that area. And I'm like, oh, I just let it go to voicemail. I'm like, I don't know this number. I'm just gonna let it go to voicemail. But I'm like, I'll listen to it. It's like, let the voicemail. And he's like, hey, just calling you so you can be able to finalize the contract. I'm like, oh my God, we got the contract. I'm so excited. But in the back of my head, I'm like, wait, this is February 8th. That means that the catering is for tomorrow, and it's for almost 600 people. Like, let me call Miss Anita, like, make sure that she can be able to do this. Like, I just don't want to tell them yes. And then she's like, oh my God, this is last minute. I can't do it. So I call her. I let her know. She's like, she's super professional. She's like, I could just go on my Cisco account and I can get all the stuff. I could be able to do it. I got this. So I called back, no answer. I'm like, oh, here we go again. So about 20 minutes later, he sends me the email of the contract to finalize. So I didn't even get to tell him yes or no. He just sends me the contract, fill it out, and that's it. We got the contract. Now I'm excited. Like, yes, I signed the contract. Now it's go time. So that's when I'm looking at the contract and I see the deliveries and I see that he had 2 different addresses for the deliveries. I'm like, this does not make any sense. So I see the point of contact information. So I call the point of contact. I let her know who I am. Like, hey, my name is Ashley Bryant. We're going to be doing the catering for you. I just wanted to make sure, just verify everything. I need to get the address and, make sure, because the last time I had asked him a question, the contract officer, about how to set up. Like, is it going to be how they want it? Do they want it like buffet style, or do they want it all packaged? They told me, no, it's buffet style. I'm like, okay, fine. So I called her to, to verify all that stuff. And she's like, why are you just now calling me? I'm like, huh? She's like, it's tomorrow. Why are you just now calling me? I'm like, ma'am, I just got the contract today. Are you kidding me? You just got this contract? Like, it's so last minute. I don't like when they do it last minute. I'm like, yeah, they told me that they had to finalize the numbers. So she's like, I then gave them those numbers. They should have been gave this to you. And I'm like, okay. Like, all right. I'm like, I just wanted to verify, the address. And she tells me the address. Totally different address from what they had on the contract. So that's why I just want everybody to make sure that you call the point of contact, because whatever's on that contract, you just want to still just verify with them to make sure, because we could have had just went to the first address that I seen and we would have just been there like, no one's around. So I'm like, okay, well, the contract says that we need to be there for dinner at 6:30. We're going to be there at 6:30. Well, I want you guys to be here at 5. Okay, and they told us that it's buffet style. It's like, well, I really wanted it to go. Okay, so calling Miss Denise and I'm letting her know what's going on. Like, it's 7:30. They talking what they wanted at 5 o'clock. She's like, oh my gosh. So we just trying to scramble, looking on the internet, trying to go on Cisco, Sam's Club, the restaurant store, because what they have on their menu is very particular. So they want, like, for one of them, it was chicken noodle soup, meatballs, vegetables, rice, and salad, along with tea, fruit punch, coffee, and it's in a certain size cups, and they wanted it a certain way. And it's like, we have to make sure that we get all this stuff. And it's like, we got to get everything for the whole weekend by tomorrow. And I'm like, and we know Cisco is closed on the weekends. So, we got to get this stuff tomorrow, like everything. Well, today and tomorrow. So now we're scrambling, trying to get all this stuff. I'm like, like the way the point of contact was talking there, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I think I really need to go down to San Antonio and do this. Even though I had to work the next day, I'm like, this is my first one. This is my baby. I'm like, I have to go. I gotta make sure everything is good. With it being last minute, I just want to make sure that it's done right. And this is my baby. So I called my boss. I'm like, look, I got an emergency. I can't make it tomorrow. But I'll be back to work Saturday, but I can't make it. I'm like, because I'm thinking back in my head, this is my business. Like, it's my job. I appreciate it, but this is my business. I have to make sure that it's right. So I just flat out tell them I had an emergency. Now I drive overnight. So I drove from Tennessee to Dallas, a 9-hour drive, got out the truck, went in my car, and drove another 4 hours or some change to San Antonio. Yeah, to make sure that this was right. Now, we were supposed to get passes to be able to get into the campus. We didn't have it. So, point of contact and her soldiers had to get into our cars for us to be able to get in, because that was the only way we would do it, since everything was last minute. We couldn't get the passes. So we get there about 3:30, 4 o'clock. We're there. Even though they was like, okay, they told you 6:30, we can do it at 6:30. But we got everything set up and going that we was able to do it at 5 o'clock. So we did as how they wanted to. 600 people we had to serve, got it done in 1 hour.
Wow. I mean, I'm speechless. I know the people watching are like, oh my gosh. This is, I commend you for just all of this. I commend you for persevering with the trucks, persevering with the FedEx routes, persevering with this, because people watching, this is not unique. Like, I knew where this was going. I knew the woman was going to be like, why haven't you called me? I knew this was going to be wrong, because this is part of their job. The gentleman she was engaging with, this is not his full-time job to handle catering.
Right.
He just needed to get things done. Who knows what's going on in his life? Maybe he wasn't at work a few days before. You know, it's like, you got to have grace. And that's what I love about this. You had grace. You didn't say like, they need to give me more. I want to do this. You were like, okay, we got this. And then the woman you partnered with, oh my goodness, how was she pull this off?
Well, I mean, she is professional. It was a straight, I mean, we had way more food than we even expected. Like, that's how it was. Her and her team, I mean, they did an amazing job. Like, I couldn't believe that he was even pulled off. I'm like, wow. And the soldiers, they loved it. They was like, oh my God, you guys spoiling us. Like, spoiling y'all. Like, y'all deserve this and more. Like this is what it's supposed to be. So now the point of contact, they see us. They see what we can be able to do. They see that how it was last minute, we can handle this under pressure. So now she is just in love with us. She's like, oh, I'm going to send the invoice as soon as this is done. Like, and that's how good it was. So now we're in contact with the point of contact now. So she's letting us know. Now we're having real full conversations, letting us know how much we can bid, like what's the stop point for the bids and everything, letting us know, oh, you could have did more than what you had did. And letting us also know that she only really uses she only really like to use two people. One of them was PFG, Performance Food Group. Like, performance, like, that is a huge company. Like, the perform, like, what? Like, and she was like, yeah, but because they can't use so much, they have to use other people. She was like, I was like, I was really nervous because I always use them. She's like, but you guys did so much so well. So she was like, okay, so now that I have 3 people, I can be able to put you guys in rotation to let us know how much Performance Food or how much PFG bids, so we can all be in the same realm of bidding. So then we'll all be in rotation for it.
Which I love that. And I hope everyone really caught that one of the competitors, or also the preferred vendor, is a large company, and that they were a little leery because they're so used to them. And it's something I talk about all the time, this Amazon mentality. That's why it's hard for us to go to a non-Amazon website, because we don't know if we're going to get it. And so what's great is they took that chance on you, on your amazing company, and you excel, because I know they love that food. I know they were over that plain old food they kept getting.
There was. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus. I don't want to. I'm not the one to hear the gossip. I'm not trying to. But I just want everybody to know that if you're doing this, like, make sure that you do it right. Make sure that you are on top of your game. You have to plan for stuff like this to happen. Like, you don't want, because they gonna talk about you. Like, if you do it wrong, they definitely gonna talk about you. Because when we was there, I mean, we was having full-blown conversations, and the reason why she was like that is because the last contractors that they had wasn't right. So the last contractors that they had gave them the natural granola bars. They gave them natural granola bars, a Capri Sun, and pigs in a blanket for breakfast. None of that is on the contract. None of that is on the contract. And they even had pictures of it.
Okay, hold up. First off, I'm always shocked that people still drink Capri Sun. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like Capri Sun is meant to be with vodka. And this comes from a person with almost 11 years sobriety. So I Capri Sun. And like, I've gone to my share of military events. So I've experienced the catering. I've gone in the mess halls, and I thought I saw it all. Pigs in a blanket, Capri
Sun, and a natural granola bar. Now, this is for our soldiers. Why would you do that? For dinner, they had the hot dogs. They have hot dogs and chili on the dinner menu. They ran out of hot dogs. So they took the wieners from the pigs in the blanket.
No.
Yes. And use that for the hot dogs. Then they expect to get paid. He said, I'm not paying them a dime. Like, that's basically.
They were like, we're not going to pay you.
Yes. Yes, the man texting her back and forth, and she's like, I'm not paying him a dime. And I'm not sitting here to talk about it to be gossip or anything. I'm just letting people know that if you want this to be your livelihood, like, why would you fumble the bag like that? This is a great opportunity. The point that you even got the opportunity to do it is like amazing, but to execute it, you always got to make sure that you execute it. If you do good, if you do bad, they're going to talk about you. And you think they're not going to say anything, they're going to let everybody know. Like, it's going to be known. I could just go back and see who was the last person who did it and know exactly who did it. They're going to know. And if you're not, like, first impression is always the best impression. And every time after that.
And I love that you shared that because, I mean, I'd fumbled the bag. There have been times where there's one agency, they ain't going to never work with me again. Yeah, I mean, it's keeping it real. There are some things I had to personally go through. And so I love that you're sharing this because the whole purpose of being here on YouTube is so you don't have to go through this.
Exactly.
You're not giving out Capri Sun, or you have a trainer who didn't really tell you that they couldn't really do the training. So you don't have these situations. And so I love that because it's true. People watching may think, well, but Kizzy, it's so different. It's food. It doesn't matter if it's food, if it's light bulbs, if it's flooring, you're just delivering Amazon gift cards because that's the contract right now that's available. They will talk about you good, bad, and in between.
Yes, and everybody else is going to know it. And then now if you try to find something else similar, you can't even put that as your past performance. Like you want to have that credibility in there to be able to get more contracts. So it's like you gotta do it. I still wrote. So that was scared. So she was nervous. But we rocked it out. We did a great job and she totally loves us. And now we're in rotation for that.
This is amazing. And if you don't mind sharing, you don't have to give the exact number. You can give a range. Like what kind of contract value was this?
It was like a little over 11,000.
Which is good. And for people watching to see, like, you got to put in work. And one thing, I want to dispel this myth. There's this myth like, oh, I just want a small contract. I'm telling you now, our contracts under 10,000 usually is way more work than our contracts over 5 million. It's like everyone to know it's not so much the dollar value. It's about, as she said, your reputation, what you're delivering, the fact that now she's going to be able to win more and more. You can, if you wanted to, you could start bidding in other states if you choose you want to do it. Because not only does she have the past performance, she got the videos, you got pictures. The one point of contact is now your biggest fan. You know, there's so much that you can do, and you can even partner with that big company.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'm looking at that too. It's like it was that much that we had won, but like now we know that we can even bid even more than what we did. Now you telling us that this is the stopping point on the bids, and that you can be able to bid more. You can bid at the same as PFG and be able to be in the rotation with them. So now we know all this, and it was like we appreciated the experience that we was able to get in it. And I mean, $11,000 is not chump change. So it was like, that was like 2 days. That was for 2 days. So it's like, it was a really good experience that we had. And so I would just make sure that the subcontractor, Miss Anika, I made sure that she was everything was good that night. It's like, yeah, everything is great. I got it handled. So now I felt good about it. Now I can be able to go home and she can just finish the weekend. So it was not only that I make a relationship with the point of contact, now I made a relationship with my subcontractor. Now she can trust me. She knows that I will be there if she needs me to be there. It's not just I need you to do this. And once we get the contract, you're not going to hear from me anymore. It's like, we are in this together. And if you need my help, I'll be there.
I mean, just the simple fact that you took the time to go there, which is big because some people think like, oh, well, when you're doing middleman or when you're subbing, when you're brokering, like, oh, you don't need to be involved. And not that you have to be involved in everything. My team, they're in the middle doing radical collaboration training. I'm not involved. I'm never going to go to one of those. We're about to do another training for a group. I'm never going to go there.
Right.
I still have people involved who are quality controlling. So until you get to that point, sometimes you got to pop in there. Because when I first started out, I was everywhere. Doing everything because I wanted people to see me and to like me and want more opposed to just, oh, well, they just sent this catering company. And then you wonder why they got pigs in a blanket and some Capri.
Yeah.
Like you're feeding, I don't know who you feed with all that, with that little grown-in people need more than that.
Exactly, especially our soldiers. They need way more than that. So yeah, I just appreciated even being there and even having the experience to do it. So it was very amazing. Now I just feel like I can do anything now.
It's true, because you understand the blueprint, and I love the fact that you got the Middleman video, because in it he shows his profit, he shows he walks you through doing an art one. You sub art, you sub food, you sub pavement, you sub training for whatever it is that the government's buying, as long as you meet the requirements. And like you said, I loved how you were like, I included photos, I included her bio, I cut and pasted from their SO statement of work and put in the thing. Like, these are all things that every single one of us watching can do. The only thing that separates it is fear and just taking that leap. That's all. That's it. But why can't
Yes, because I've been looking at these contracts, and I know it's just the big words, like probably like scare some people, like, oh my God, what are they talking about? But really, it's just a repeat after me. They're telling you everything that they want. They just want you to say what they just said already and put it in the proposal. It's like, oh, we need this at this certain time. They're like, okay, we're gonna have this at this certain time. It's just everything is kind of like a cut and paste. Like, and I mean, I can't believe that I did a whole proposal basically off of a cut and paste. I don't have any certifications. My capability statement is basically transportation. So it's like they just want to know that you understood what they said in the contract and that you're going to do it. That's
right.
it.
And then hopefully everyone can now see why they like working with big businesses, because they get pigs in a blanket, Capri Sun, and some natural granola bars for breakfast.
Yes.
So this is real, and I love that. I love that, because it's true. It's true that they want their words. They want you to show them that you're pulling out what they need. And then for some contracts, they even may want a how, but then you just explain how you're going to do it. Yep. We're going to use this kind of oven, or we're going to use this kind of delivery. Like, it's like you're talking to a friend.
Yeah, you're telling them exactly what you're going to do, and you should know exactly what you're going to do. So it's like, and that's all they want. They just want to make sure that it's just done right. Like, okay, they said they're going to do it like this, so that's how they're going to do it. We know, and that's it. Like, it's really not hard. Like, just like, I don't know, it just got my lens focused in it and just looking at like it's really not hard. And the reason why I really like share my background for people to show them like I'm not. And it's no shame for, people that was like, operating managers and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't have that background. I didn't just be in one job and just retired and just started this or, have a background and stuff. I don't have a background in none of this. Like, I just started. Like, I know, right? I know I want to break a generational curse. I know I want to make money. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was sure in the hell going to figure it out. And that was it.
And then you're on the path. Once you win one, you can easily win more, because you understand. You understand the importance of over delivery. And then the more you do it, then next thing you know, you can have hundreds of contracts and you got a 10, $20, $30 million a year.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Girl, just speak that to existence.
It's true. Because then what you do is you have people doing this part for you, finding the opportunities, finding vendors, and it's all submitted under you. And then because you have such vast past performance, the government's going to go with you. Look at what happened. The biggest myth is, well, I don't have experience. I understand that. Yes, there are some opportunities where they want experience. But for something like this, she used the experience of the catering company. They didn't say to her, oh, where's your experience? No, they asked her, is this your tax ID? Is this your number? They just wanted basic information.
It was no references, didn't need any references, none of that type of stuff. It was just basically how I was going to do it, who was going to do it, a couple of pictures here and there, sprinkle a picture, show them so you can get them give them a little peak of interest, and that's how I did it. And it was the same contractors that I was emailing every time. So I'll just go by them with first name. Like, hey, Rick. Hey, Linda. Like, hope all is well. This is Ashley for Breezy Day. Hope you pick me this time. But if you don't, like, I'm going to still do it. But if you don't, I'm going to make sure you're going to do it to the best of our ability, and you're going to love it. I'm just the same thing every single time. So it was like, so they know me and they know that I like, oh, okay, 3 days to keep sending it over and over again. Like they always gonna recognize that. And that's what I did. Like it was, and I just hope for the best, and I ended up getting it.
Which I love, I so love that. Talk to us about the invoicing. How was that? So it's a success. Everybody's happy. They're like, thank goodness we ain't got no Capri Sun. And then walk us through the invoicing part of this.
So with the invoicing, so we know we all in the rush. Contractor officer, he's asking me like, yeah, you have the invoice in WAF, and do you know WAF, right? I'm in the back of my head like, I have no clue what the WAF is, but I'm telling him, yeah, I got it, yeah, sure. I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out. I actually go on the contract and I see where they have the contract information for WAF. I go in there and I fill out the invoice. It's supposed to be a 2-in-1. Now I did mess up because I did the wrong invoice, so they emailed me back. They just let me know, hey, you're supposed to do the 2-in-1. Then we have to make sure that your cage code is good. This is your first time doing this, so we need to make sure that your cage code is active. Because for some reason, it didn't show my case code active in their system. But I guess because it was rushed, so that it didn't show me. So I ended up going on sales, just screenshotting and showing that I'm active. That's what I did. I sent them an email showing, hey, I'm active. And they told me, okay, now you just need to do a 2-in-1 invoice instead of regular invoice. And I mean, it was pretty simple because they give you all the instructions on how to do it. It's like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what WAF was. But on the website, it's basically they just tell you what to do. They hold your hand on it. Like nothing is hard about it. Nothing is hard about it.
It's not. In case anyone's wondering what this is, it's Wide Area Workflow. It's the platform that the Department of Defense uses to issue payment. Then they have a subgroup or sub-platform where the acronym is PI.
Yep.
So then you register in the PI system. You follow the instruction to a T. And as she shared, sometimes they'll write you like, hey, this didn't go through. And then you'll get emails where it'll say like process or rejected or accepted. So you're getting contact along the way. And what's also good, which you did, is you want to make sure you let them know, hey, I'm invoicing, because what'll happen is Tony didn't know. Tony's on vacation. Tony's doing his job. Tony's not thinking about your invoice. And then you're like, what's going on? I thought because he said in 30 days. So it's good to let them know you're not being a bother because they have other responsibilities. So then when they know, hey, your invoice is there. And as Ashley said earlier, the one point of contact was like, oh, I want to make sure it's rushed. They can do that. It's not this automatic. There's another myth like, oh, well, no, but she's a small business, so they just pay like that. No. It's not how it works.
No.
There's people involved in this process. So the more the people like you, they get to know you. It's just like any other thing in life. Then they're going to rush your stuff through. If you're like, oh, well, I submitted an invoice and then you disappear, they're not thinking about your invoice.
I'm glad you had said that because I actually contacted them once I was seeing that it was, because at first it was suspended. I'm like, oh shoot, like what did I do? Like why? And then it got rejected. Then it told me why, specifically why it got rejected. It had the person's name who did it, his phone number. So I called him. I'm like, hey, Sue, like I'm trying to figure out like how to do this 2-in-1 process. And he's on the phone with me going over it, telling me how I'm supposed to do it, how I need to submit it. I'm like, okay, I submitted. He's like, okay, let me check and see that you did it right. Like, okay, yep, everything looks good, everything is right. So making sure, being on top of that, because like you said, they're not gonna care. Like they got their own thing going on. They probably have other invoices they have to process. And if you don't care, why should they? And I want to pay my subcontractor. I want to make sure she get her money. And I want to get my money too. So you have to be on top of that as well.
I love the fact you worked in such a strong partnership that there wasn't this like, I need my money. Like like, what do you mean 600? Because that shows she is a professional.
Yeah.
And it's been said many times during this interview, but I want to highlight that because it seems like, oh, it's so easy. I just find somebody, they middleman, boom, boom, boom. But you want somebody who's a professional doing it so you don't end up, we're not Capri Sun people.
Yep.
You might love some Capri Sun, but not with the federal government, y'all. You better put Capri Sun back.
Let me reiterate her name, Shanita Ellis, with Hurry Back Catering. Been doing it for 9 years. Like, she is like really professional, like you said. And then it's like letting them know how they will get paid. Because I told her, like, it's a 30-day invoice. Like, we won't be able to get the the money up front. Now I'm in my head like, I don't have the money up front to get this food. I hope she do. She's like, oh, it's good. I got the money. I got it. I can do it. I'm perfect. And it's like letting her know that, because if I didn't tell her that, and then I would have had got this bid and be like, okay, you got to pay for it. And then we have to wait for the money. She'd probably be like, what? Why didn't you tell me this before? So it's just being on top of everything, letting your subcontractors know what the terms are, what are you supposed to be doing, just so they won't be like, oh, I'm not using this person again. She didn't tell me everything I was supposed to have. No, she don't know what she's doing. It's like, you just have to make sure they know.
That is so spot on. You do, because then the company gets to decide. Some people may say, oh, well, I can't do it. Okay, there's somebody else who can. More people did not say that they can do it. I think somebody in the Facebook group recently was talking about they had gone through like 2 subcontractors and they were thinking of letting go of their job in order to make sure the stuff gets done. And sometimes that happens. I mean, I've had my share of interesting subcontractor and interesting employee experiences. So it's going to happen. What is next for you?
So now I have my old high school friend. She lives in Kentucky. I've been trying to get everybody in this, but I guess it's just gotta see it to believe it type thing. But she's been riding with me before then, so I got her doing it now. I actually met somebody on the Facebook group.
Oh,
yeah, Miss I know, right? She messaged me and we were just talking. I told her that I work in Dallas. She's like, okay, I live in Tyler. I was like, what? I live there too. So this coincidentally, we met up with each other like this past Sunday, and now we're like, we're gonna start working with each other on different contracts and stuff. And and now I'm working on another contract with the Hurry Back Catering. So I actually want for a juvenile, so like a cafeteria for a juvenile. So I'm working on that. Was a bigger one. That was like the 1-year contract, 4-year option.
Good.
Kind of expand to a little bit bigger, but at the same time, we're still going to be doing those contracts, with the military, like, because those like, a little couple of days here, a week here, something like that, like something that we know that we could be able to do. So, but I'm looking at everything now.
Good. And look at the Texas National Guard, Army and Airside. If they need catering during drills, or if they need catering for any kind of special events, get in with them.
That's one of this today too, that I appreciate all your videos. I read your book, love your book. I just love it. I think I probably watched all your videos, all the interviews already. And that's another thing too. It's like, all the questions that they have on Facebook, it's like, all you basically got to do is just go to your YouTube, and most of them, those questions are answered on your YouTube. So, like, anybody asking the questions, like, let's go through all the YouTubes. Go through all the YouTube videos. Your question will be answered on there.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that. I love that you have a copy of the book, winnerswaybook.com for y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification. And also in the Facebook group. Yes. And you can search in the Facebook group. You can search. It's a free group. There's over 10,000 people. It's like, check it out. If there's a particular topic where I don't have a video, it might be in something behind a paywall, or it may be something that I just haven't created yet. Because the thing is, like, for instance, with wide area workflow, I had my team member create a video, because you have to have contracts to create videos on these platforms. So in your personal information is showing and stuff. So we have that in one of our trainings. But yeah, and that's why I'm able to create a lot of these videos, because of that. But I love it. I love that you're using the resources. I love that you guys met. I may have to do something special, because I'm so inspired by this that I will be in Dallas in a month. And maybe, yeah, I will be. So maybe we'll do some informal something or other. Yeah, that would be fun.
I love it.
It'd be fun. We may have to do something. We may have to go to one of the Keith Lee Dallas hot spots.
I know you here, so I know where it's at.
I'm all about that. Is it Hutchinson's barbecue? That's where I want to go.
Oh, Hutchins barbecue. I'm actually that's why I'm leaving right now. That's where my job is at, in Hutchins. So I know exactly where.
May have to meet up there. So, and for anyone watching and you're like, I don't live near there, don't worry. Keep coming back to the channel, hit the notification, like, subscribe. I love what you're doing. I love the community. I'm so full of joy and love after hearing this. It's like, I'm so proud of you.
It's like I said, it's like I just wanted to just let people know, it's like, just go for it. Have that, it's like whatever you want to do, like just do it. And I know it's like people like, oh man, she did this and it failed and did that. It doesn't matter. Like, just you gotta go for it. I'm like, I'd rather waste money trying to go for what trying instead of wasting my time. Like that's how I in some place that I don't even want to be at. So it's like I really like that's just me. It's like you just gotta go, just gotta try, just gotta do it. Just gotta do it. Money comes and goes, but your time won't.
That's so spot on. That is so spot on. I love that. And I know people are going to want to know, Ashley, because clearly y'all can connect with her on the Facebook group. But in case you're like, no, I'm not a big Facebook person, I understand that. How would you like people to get in contact with you?
They can contact me. It's Breezy Day LLC. You can do it on Instagram, Facebook. I just actually made a page, so it's not too much. Or you go to breezydayllc.com, or you can just email me at ashley@breezydayllc.
Awesome.
Sorry, moving and stuff.
That's all right. I love this because this is reality, y'all. Reality. She's in the middle of doing what she needs to do, and to me, that's reality. That's the reality.
Yeah, that's the hustle and the determination you gotta have with this. Like, yeah, I'm still working, but once I'm done with here, I'm about to be on these contracts and and fill them out and look and see the different opportunities that's on here. So, I mean, you just gotta do what you gotta do. This is real, y'all. The realest thing y'all ever see.
And the beauty is because the government, they have locations all over the world. You can bid any time of the day. It's not just a 9 to 5. You can do it any hour. So I love that. You can do it anywhere. As long as you have internet connection, you're good to go.
And that's it. That's all. So like I said, I wanna get like I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna get like you, Miss Kizzy. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do more than me. That's what I want. I want every single one. I want all y'all do way more than me. And there's more amazing things coming to help y'all do that too. So be ready. But yeah, you're gonna do way more than me, girl.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And so again, everybody, winnerswaybook.com, winnerswaybook.com. Don't forget to like, hit the notification button, subscribe. And as always, everything is possible. And until next time.